Hey guys, it's me, Devianamagenta, and I'm back again this week with another Friday Night Fairytale. Last week I did Castle of the Cats, and the link to that is going to be in the description if you want to watch and compare it to this one, because the two are closely related fairy tales in the fairytale family tree. You see, as myths spread around the world, they get changed, but the fundamental core of them is still the same. And that's one thing that I'm really nerdy about, that really interests me, so I wanted to share it with you. Alright, so here we go. Cherry the Frog Bread. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful young girl named Cherry, and her mother was very poor, but the girl would not eat anything other than cherries, hence the name. So the mother would break into a witch's garden to steal cherries. This is kind of related to Rapunzel, this intro here. And the witch found out that all these cherries were going to this girl, and she was like, well, I'm gonna make trouble for this girl next chance I get. And when the girl grew up, she became very beautiful, and 3 princes fell in love with her at the same time and went to war over it. And when the witch found out that these 3 princes had gone to war over cherries, she was like, this is the perfect excuse to curse the heck out of this girl. So she went and cursed the girl to become a frog at the edge of the world. And now we cut to modern times, story-wise, where there is a king who is dying, and he has 3 sons who are all triplets. They were all born at the same time. And so he has no good way of deciding who will be the next king. So the guy, he sits down and he goes, okay, here's the deal, my 3 sons. I will send you out on a competition into the world, and that way we will decide which of you wants to be king. Or which of you gets to be king, more accurately. So the competition is this. You must find 100 yards of cloth that are so fine and thin that I can fit it through my signet ring. And so he sends out his 3 sons, and the older 2 triplets hop onto their horses and ride away as fast as they can down all the wide paved roads. They take these big entourages of servants and heralds and knights and things with them. But the youngest of the 3 triplets is a much simpler man, and rather than taking a big entourage, he just takes one simple horse, his friend horse, the one that he's most closely bonded to, not the fastest one. And he rides off down the less taken roads, the roads that have grass growing in the middle of them, that wind and twist through forgotten valleys. And by, eventually he comes to the river at the end of the world. And he sits down and thinks to himself, what a beautiful place. What a lovely river. And he is chilling there when, whoop, up from the water pops a frog. And he goes, oh, hello there, frog. And for 3 hours he sits and talks with this frog. And, they're just sitting there chilling and talking about how nice it is here at the end of the world. And the frog goes, now surely you must have come here for something. Nobody comes to the end of the world unless they are looking for something. And he goes, well, I did come here to look for 100 yards of cloth so fine it fits through my father's signet ring, but I sincerely doubt you have anything like that here. The frog goes, maybe I can do something for you. And she dives down, down, down into the water at the bottom, at the river at the end of the world. And the guy waits there for, a few minutes, and whoop, up comes this frog again, and she spits out a acorn. And he goes, oh, okay. And she goes, all right, take this acorn, put it in your pocket, and take it home with you. And do not open it till you get home. When you get home, open it up, and you will find inside what you seek. And the guy goes, oh, okay. And he jumps onto his horse and, rides back off down all these roads. And as he's riding down them, they become wider and more mainstream, better used, until eventually he gets back to his father's palace. And his 2 brothers are already there, and they've got their, bolts of cloth, these beautiful fine material, and the father is trying to cram them through his signet ring, but it doesn't really fit. And then they go and look at their brother and they're like, dude, did you not even try? Where's all the cloth? You were supposed to bring cloth. And the guy goes, oh, right. and he pulls out the nut that the frog gave him and breaks it open, and out of it falls this just river of gold cloth. And it's so fine that it fit inside, like the whole 100 yards fit inside of that acorn. And the father realizes he doesn't even need to try to stuff this through his signet ring. It will obviously fit because it fit inside of the acorn. And so his brothers are like outraged, like, what? That's ridiculous. He got it out of an acorn? He must obviously be consorting with a witch or something. And the father's like, okay, chill. For this next one, I want you to go out and find the world's daintiest dog. And I want you to bring that dog back to me, and whoever has the smallest dog will be the next king. So the two brothers hop onto their horses, and they take their big entourages, and they ride out. And the youngest prince, instead of taking, a big entourage and the fastest horse, he just takes his favorite horse again, and he rides off down the same roads to get back to the end of the world again, because he wants to spend more time with that frog that he was talking to yesterday. So when he arrives there, he sits down, and the frog pops up, and they sit and they chat about, the world, and he tells her about his life and his woes, and she's a very good listener. And for 3 days, he sits and talks with this frog. And at the end of the 3 days, the frog goes, "So, what have you come for this time, my friend?" And he says, "Oh, well, this is ridiculous. There's no way you're gonna have it, but I was supposed to find a tiny, teeny little dog, but I don't really care that much. I just came here to talk to you." And the frog goes, I might have something I can do for you. And she dives down into the bottom of the river, and he waits there for several minutes, and he's starting to think maybe the frog might not be coming back, when, boop, up she comes, and she spits out a walnut, and he goes, "Oh, thanks." And she goes, "Yeah, take this walnut, put it in your pocket, do not open it until you get home." And so the guy takes the walnut, and he puts it in his pocket, and he gets back on his horse and rides home. And when he gets home, his two brothers are showing off these tiny little itty-bitty puppies that they brought home, these little tiny dogs that are so dainty and beautiful. And the guy cracks open his walnut, and out into his hand prances a dog so small that it fits inside of the walnut shell. And the dad is like, "Okay, you won. You're the king now." And the brothers are like, "That is ridiculous. There's no way that's a real dog. It's a trick. That's obviously a mouse or something. There's no way a real dog would fit inside of a walnut shell." So the dad is like, okay, we'll do one more competition. You must go out into the world and find yourself the most beautiful wife in all of the world. And when you go out and find this wife, bring your wife back. You can take your time with this one. Take 3 weeks to find this wife, because you want to find a good wife. And when you come back, all three of you, I will marry all three of you to your new brides, so that no matter who wins, it will still be a happy occasion for everybody. And all the brothers are like, yeah, this sounds like a good plan. And the two brothers, they take their big entourages and their fast horses, and they ride out down all the wide roads of the road, all the, paved roads, to find beautiful women. But the youngest prince, he doesn't really want to work super hard and find a beautiful bride. He doesn't even really want to be king that much. So he hops on his horse, and he rides out into the woods, and he takes the roads back to the end of the world again, and sits down next to the frog. And for 3 whole weeks, he sits and chats with this frog, and the two of them become very close friends. Now, the 3 weeks come to a close, and the frog says to him, "Okay, my friend, what have you come for this time?" And he goes, "Well, you really can't help me with this one. I have come to find a beautiful woman, but, well, there are clearly no beautiful women here, and besides, I'm already in love." And the frog goes, "Oh, well, in that case, I can definitely help you." And he goes, You can?" And she goes, "Yes, you just ride home. The beautiful woman will ride behind you, and no matter what you see, don't laugh. You cannot laugh, okay? If you laugh, everything gets ruined, alright?" And he's like, "Yeah, I could probably do that." And so he rides along, and behind him he starts hearing this clattering sound, so he turns and looks over his shoulder, and there's a bunch of rats, like 6 or 7 rats, all toed in a little line, and they're pulling a pumpkin behind them. And sitting on top of the pumpkin is a little toad, like a little tiny footman, and running along behind it is a tiny entourage of like hopping birds. And inside of the pumpkin, sitting very regally, is that frog. You know, looking very ugly as a frog does, but still looking very regal, has a regal body posture. And he's like, but he doesn't laugh. And so he keeps on riding home, and all the while behind him, he can hear this pumpkin like thump, 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 thumping along on the ground. He's like, trying super hard not to laugh. And when he finally gets home, his two brothers are showing off their beautiful brides, and, you know, each is more beautiful than the last. And they both turn and look at their brother, and they go, "Oh, your bride, she's so beautiful." And he's like, "What?" Because he still thinks it's just the frog following him. But when he turns around, it's not just the frog. She is a beautiful woman. In fact, the most beautiful of them all, riding in a beautiful carriage. And when she hops out, she explains to him the curse that was placed upon her, and that by falling in love with her, and by not laughing while she rode home behind him, that he had broken the curse. So all three brothers became married to their brides, and the boy became king, and Cherry became the queen, and they all lived happily ever after. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Again, if you want, go and check out the other fairy tale, Castle of the Cats, link in the description, and compare and contrast the differences between the two fairy tales, because it's actually really cool. And yeah, if you enjoyed, go ahead and hit like and subscribe. Go in the comments and comment another fairy tale you might be interested in hearing, or like a part of the world you want to hear a myth from. And you guys have a lovely day.